Sorry, just kidding. We're live. Yeah. Okay. So just to do a real quick introduction, Casual Dad Games here. Finally getting to sit down and cover the Welsh Open, and I've got a surprise guest on here, and Narkexi has come along to keep me in line and tell me where I'm horribly wrong on this meta conversation stuff. But then I've also got the surprise guest on, Liam, and Liam Baker, right?
Yep, that's the one. Super
Perfect.
interesting name.
Spoilers, winner of the Welsh Open this year, so we can go ahead and talk about that. Yeah, graciously offered to join in, and then was even more graciously rescheduled 4 times when all of us had wonky evenings this past week.
Yeah, I think there was one time where I fell asleep, then woke up, and I was like, "Oh shit, I was meant to do this," and then you're like, "Oh, we rescheduled anyway," and I was like, "Thank God."
Yeah, what's funny is I think each of the three of us at one point was asleep at the time we are supposed to do the recording.
Yes.
Narkexi stayed up all night one day and then slept in. I fell asleep early one night, and then you fell asleep once. So we covered it perfectly. And then last night, I think we were all ready except me, because I got heinously hangover yesterday. Totally my own fault. And so this was kind of our last reasonable date to go ahead and cover this. But yeah, and Liam, I was hoping you could check me on this one. Was the Welsh Open this year the first XWA System Open of 2025? Is that true?
It was, yeah.
It was.
So I've been immortalized.
The first winner. It's like the first world's champ. Yeah, and so you are part of the Sith Taker podcast.
Yes, I'm one of the co-hosts on there with Tim, Ben, and Rich.
And then Tim also did stream the event. So he's on Twitch, and then is he also on YouTube? Can we find those there?
Yeah, he's started uploading to YouTube. I will send you the Twitch now because you asked for the socials, and I forgot he streams for some reason.
No, that's fine. And I do have that, but I wanted to make sure that I had all of that just in case, because I was going to put that in the description to make sure folks could find it, because I want to shout that out and continue to support the ecosystem. And I appreciate that he did that. That was really good. And I got a little bit of the streams. It's a little bit funny because being in the US, the European tournaments were actually easier to follow because they were at this like insane off hour where I had nothing else going on, could comfortably follow them. Whereas now I'm in Europe, and so it's like normal day time zone, and I have stuff going on where it's a little bit harder to track. But
yeah,
still had it on when I could. That was fun. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure this out because previously my favorite tournaments to attend were the Australian time zone ones, because starting at 9 a.m. was like the middle of the night for me. And so I could comfortably go through the entire tournament. It was pulling an all nighter, but I could comfortably do the entire tournament all the way through and still have like adult commitments during the day. Yeah, which I think I can still do. It's actually a little bit more reasonable now that 8 a.m. is like 10 p.m. here.
there's no chance of me doing that. I fall asleep at just random times in the day. There's no chance.
I've already taken on the Scandinavian and apparently Portuguese too habit of drinking espresso at all hours of the day, which does kind of just keep you going until you want to stop.
I don't drink tea or coffee. I just drink Cancer Monster all the time.
I'm sorry, wait a minute. So this feeds into your what was it you said? Like least patriotic Englishman ever?
Yeah, that's me.
So no tea.
No. So back in the XTC days, well, it's like one of the first online ones. I started referring to the US as North Mexico or South Canada. And one person was like really disgruntled about this, and he was like, "How would you like it if I called you South Scotland?" And I was like, "Well, Scotland's national animal is a unicorn, so yeah, bring it on. I'm all on board with that. The accent is amazing." And he just didn't know how to respond. I was like, "There's no patriotic blood in me."
I also find it no problem being called Southern Canada. Northern Mexico, well, I don't know. It's not too bad.
It can't be that bad. You did take most of their land.
True. Yeah.
It's good for something. Oil.
Yeah. What are we calling the Gulf this week? I don't know if we need to go there. Anyway, yeah, I personally think we all wish we could be as cool as Scotland. A unicorn, really? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So if you look at a British passport, there's a unicorn on there and and a lion because England is universally known to have lots of lions
Right.
that are
Of
all
course.
sad and in zoos.
Oh, God. Um, Total tangent. I did go to the aquarium in Lisbon not too long ago, and the fish there. This is the weirdest thing of all things. It's a place where a lot of seafood is eaten, but the fish at the Lisbon aquarium are like the happiest, friendliest fish I've ever encountered at any aquarium. I don't get it. Like you do the usual thing where there's a bunch of crowds gawking and like leaning on the glass, and the fish all just blithely come up and say hello. It's crazy. Um, I've got this great picture of my 3-year-old son sitting like directly next to the glass, and then these two like skates are propped right next to him, just kind of hanging out with him. Skates, race,
Yeah,
race.
yeah, Rays. They do that at the Birmingham Sea Life Centre as well. There's like a little bit where you can just reach down and touch the back of them and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
If yeah, but then after what they did to Steve Irwin, you can never trust them again.
No,
Stingray, and he
no.
was very much messing with it. So yeah, they're not all stingrays.
New social
That it is.
movement.
I'm having to teach my son that too. I've studied a lot of marine biology as a kid, but my kids both call all rays stingrays because like everybody calls all rays stingrays. But there's a ton out there. There's a lot of variety there. The ones in this picture are like the leopard spotted ones, the cool looking ones.
Mhm.
All right, but let's get on to the Welsh Open. So, a couple things about this. And I've got the lists pulled up just to make sure that everyone else is on the same page with this as I am. If you're looking at a List Fortress event summary with all the squads in it, the cut number is the actual top player. So your fourth place cut, your first player, your cut number 1 is the winner of the event. It still is challenging for me to see number 2, and I was incorrect about this one. Do we want to go ahead and spoil the top and then go down from there?
Do you want to go by the Swiss final standings, or do you want to just go by the top 8? Because I can give the Longshanks for either.
Ooh, that's fair. I have no idea how to read Longshanks. That is very much a foreign language.
This one should be relatively easy because it's final standings, but hang on, I'll just pull them into the chats.
I got it there. Let's pop that open.
Okay, yeah, that first one is the top cut, and that tells you who played what. Yep, cool.
So is this Swiss? Okay. And tiebreaker. Ooh, and this we talked about this. So there was a tiebreaker in your matches, and this was the first time that I'd heard of the XWA tiebreaker going on, where it was kill points.
It is, yeah. So I was very unsure about how to work it out, which is wild because I've play tested it. So I just got a judge to come along, and it's kill points. So you basically score it as if it's chance engagement, because the game is primarily a dogfighting game, and you should be rewarded for doing so. So we got to 17-17, and my game plan in that was to just take the objectives and
Oh, got
survive.
it.
So I did accumulate more points through objectives, but because we drew, naturally he scored more points through killing things, and therefore was awarded the win, rightfully so.
So you had a loss and still won the event.
Yeah, that's probably because I didn't have to play Corrington again.
Not it. And then Corrington Rue number 4, who played the Empire list. Yeah, okay. So so obviously we know that you got first place. Do you want to go ahead and cover your list first, or do we want to go ahead and start with James and number 8?
It's your podcast. It's however you want to do this.
Let's go ahead and build up the suspense. Let's start with number 8.
Cool.
Do I have his list? I don't know if I do.
So if you go on Longshanks, you can see the bit where it says faction when you're in the results bit. It says faction, and there'll be a little black box next to it. You just click that black box, and it'll give you his list.
There we go. Okay. Ooh, first order. Yuck. All right. So number 8, we've got this again was James Humphrey of the Thai Blue Army.
Yep, it's the
And
most average X-wing squadron in the UK, I'm told.
thing about it is like first order terrifies me just because of raw stats. Like just in terms of the dice they've got in every single ship, the shields they've got, the ordnance they've got. Like FO is just on average better pound for pound than every other faction out there. I think personally, they don't have as many standout top tier pieces, but their bottom tier, like the absolute rock bottom, weakest, cheapest, junkiest FO ship, is better than every other thing. So they're kind of middle of the road, which I find frightening because you don't see the list get dramatically weaker as you kill individual ships usually. But yeah, so let's see. We got Whisper Kylo with Brilliant Evasion, Instinctive Aim, Concussion Missiles, Sensor Scramblers, and Enhanced Jamming Suite at 5 points. Yikes. Then we got Hollow at 5 points with Proud Tradition, Ion Missiles, and Shield Upgrade. We got Malorus in the TIFO with Fire Control, Mag Pulse, Shield Upgrade. A stock TIFO, which I assume is not stock TIFO. Was there just a generic
It
TIFO in there?
was Evacuation of Dakar Scorch.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so
gnarly.
that's the only issue with Longshanks. Sometimes with the standard loadout stuff, it happened with the AMG ones as well. It just doesn't actually pull the thing through. So it'll show up as that, but you can normally take an educated guess. But as we've just been told, it was Scorch.
Okay. And then we've got Agent Terex in the She, okay, with Biohexacrypts, Tactical Officer, Contraband, and Targeting Computer. And then all gas clouds. I do appreciate being able to see the obstacles. I don't usually look at those in List Fortress. But did you ever play against this list?
I did not, but I've seen James play this type of list a few times now. He's done well at quite a few events, and he's a very, very competent and solid player. He's always touching that top cut bracket now. I know from experience that Kylo Ren is an absolute menace.
Yeah, that Whisper is such a cool ship. It's challenging to fly, but also a little bit more forgiving than some of the other similar ships. Like I think we're going to talk about your Churtech. It's more forgiving than a Nantex because it has other ways to get evade, removes mods from attackers. Yeah, it's just an interesting ship. And of course, has force, so it doesn't need that focus all the time. And coming with concussion missiles, gnarly. Okay.
It's got the focus into jam as well.
Yeah.
And you said this was the most average list in the UK.
Average squadron.
Okay.
It's what they've called themselves because if you've heard of Steel City X-Wing, they keep calling themselves the most successful X-Wing squadron.
Highest played win rate? What are you talking about?
They just say they win a lot of things, but I think they were judging it off invitations to Worlds, which most of them got because there was drop downs because they weren't actually winning the events. But that's different drama.
Getting all the EU squad or the England squadron gossip here. I love it. You hear about some of this in the Sith Taker cast, but it's nice to hear it again.
Yeah.
And the sass. You're going to get some messages after this one.
Oh, that's fine. They'll all get the same response. None of it is repeatable.
The two-finger salute.
Oh, man. Oh, and yeah, Narkexi, did you want to drop in with the faction breakdown? Because that's something we highlighted that we haven't covered since we started recording.
Yep, so it was only the top 16. I didn't do it to the top 8, but if you've got it up on the screen at the moment, every faction but Rebels and Resistance made it to the top 8, which I kind of like seeing. I'm a bit sick of seeing Rebels and Resistance everywhere.
Yeah, that's a hell of a flip because it was just like Rebels had completely dominated the upper meta for a while there at the end of AMG points.
Yeah. And but even a little bit into XWA as well, Rebels was still a very solid pick. They had a lot of really nice pieces that you could... There was no easily defined meta for Rebels as well. I mean, it was... I suppose you could say pick your flavor of wedge. It was either A-Wing wedge, custom wedge, or Battle over Endor wedge. So it was always usually wedge and friends, but it's good to see that a lot of the other factions we didn't see a lot of play starting. We say that, but when you look at the breakdown, it's... What is that? 3 Separatist lists in the top 8 still? So Separatists, while not receiving huge play numbers, are still performing really well.
And this, so I can take this as like, I've always been right all along because Separatists, First Order, and Scum are the top 3 performers here. But No, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
that's not funny. Yeah, so top 16, you've got the numbers. I'm looking at the raw list, and so
Yeah.
they're out of order, but I see 3
So for the
scum,
top-
2 resistance. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so for top 16, we've got 2 Empire players, a Rebel player, 3 Scum, 3 FO, 2 Resistance, 3 CIS, and 1 Republic. And what's interesting is all 3 of the CIS players in the top. No, that's a lie. We've got all 3 CIS players made it to the top 8, and the only Republic player in the top 16 made it to the top 8 as well.
And so Republic, Rebels, Resistance all got eliminated before the top 8. So they made the top 16, but not further. And it was a sizable event with 40 players. It's still on the smallish side compared to some of these, so it's kind of hard to judge too much into that. But that's still a really remarkable split in terms of faction breakdown, and that's really cool to see. And then just doing a quick scan down the list, like down the rest of the event, you still have a pretty even faction distribution. A lot of scum players.
Yeah. So using Pattern Analyzer, the most played faction was actually Scum and Villainy at 10.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
Yeah.
And then Rebels did factor. I'm seeing 3 more Rebels out of the top 16.
Yeah.
That's still only 4 Rebelists total. So only, 10% of all players brought Rebels?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing often when there's a nerf or a perceived nerf, it's pretty common for players to switch off that. Excuse me, to switch off that faction completely and switch to something else. A lot of the time just because you want to fly something different, but then also because there's that perception that that thing is bad now.
Yes.
Yeah, I do see,
Yeah.
it looks like in terms of played win rate, it does seem like CIS did very, very well. There's only 3 others in the entire event other than those that actually made top 8.
Mhm.
So it's still a relatively small total number of players, but the players that played performed well and did place very well in the end. Okay. Yeah, and then comparing, we just talked about the top 16. Top 8, we had 3 Separatists, 2 FO, 1 Scum, 1 Republic, 1 Empire.
Yep.
Wild. And I do usually ask about this too. Liam, is there any sense that some factions didn't perform well because there were a lot of counters to them? Because that's something that can happen where you have a meta list that's still very good, but has a weak matchup. And if that weak matchup dominates the event, it could make their performance appear weaker than it actually is.
So I think a lot of the issue with Rebels is that people go off them because the pieces they like to fly aren't the relevant pieces. Like I played in the Polish event yesterday, and I got absolutely torn to shreds by a Rebel list, and it was like it's nothing I've seen put together. So it was like the Battle Over Endor Tycho, Gina,
Really? Okay.
like build your own Gina with the proton cannons, Corran, Gavin Darklighter, and a TIE fighter to go pick up objectives, and it just ripped me to shreds.
And the tie was not Sabine.
I don't think it was. It might have been.
Okay.
It just
Probably
took
not,
an
because
evade and
she's
stayed away from me.
yeah, she's 3 points with 0 loadout, I think, now in XWA.
Yeah, I know someone who didn't end up going probably would have taken the Big Alpha Strike, which is like Hera with Proton Torps, Battle of Yavin, Luke, the one with attack speed and Proton Torps, Aseji and
the
Wedge.
K-Wing.
Yep. And he didn't come to the event, so he didn't take it. But the Ozatuk with Wolf Waro, a lot of people aren't taking it, but it won one of the 312's Conquest events. Like, it's a really solid thing, and a few people took it here, but I was there on the day, and results just didn't go their way because their dice just weren't rolling average. They put their things in the right position, but they weren't getting rewarded for that. And because you put so much resource into those big hits, if they don't come off, it's just not your day. So I think there were some variance-based results there. And to be fair, none of them moaned about dice. They did the right thing and tried to look internally at the game and go, what did I do wrong? I can't control the dice. I can't moan about the dice. What can I do better? And the same with Resistance. I mean, in the recent points update, there was a lot of buffs to most factions apart from CIS, who received the most nerfs. So I think there's still some things in there to click for Resistance. I know Chris Burnett, who came up in 11th, he was very close to coming up into the top 8 by winning his final game, but he ended up losing that on like the last dice roll. And Nick Firecast had an absolute stormer, and I played him, and I got him in the last shot of the game.
Oh,
Had that happen.
And that was a range 1 shot into a Ioned ZZ.
Oh man, so you Ioned wow. Okay, yeah.
So it was focus evaded, and my bombardment drone had no tokens, rolled 3 hits out of hand, and he rolled 2 blanks on his defense and died because he had 1 health left. And that's how I won that game. So if that goes either way, Nick's in the final, and I might not be. So it's one of those. It's just on the day, the results don't tell the stories of the games, which is the only issue with. Look at raw data.
Yeah, I had a result where I had a range 3 shot with Talonbane Cobra into not stress Talonbane because I just Talon rolled into Malorus. 3 hits, he rolled nothing but blanks and focuses, but he forgot to use Malorus's ability, and he was on 1 HP.
Forgot to use it in the system phase.
Yep, he rolled 3 focuses, so he would have survived. He rolled 3 focuses, 2 blanks, forgot to use Malorus's ability, because Malorus's ability is before engagement phase, I believe.
Yeah, you have to free call that one. It's like the the old Glitterstone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He just forgot to do it, and it cost him the game because I was behind by 3 points, and I ended up winning by 1.
Nice. Oh, and Malorus is 4 now. Yeah. Dang. Okay. Let's go ahead and jump through the rest of the top 8 real fast before we get too distracted. Next up, we have Dom Flanagan of 186 Squadron, Separatists. I was going to say Separatist lists are so big, but this one's not too bad. Is this all hyenas? Wow. We got Django Fett in the Fire Spray with Elusive, Dooku, Proton Bombs, Contraband, Delayed Fuses, and Slave 1. I'd love to see the 8-point I6 Fire Spray is still just a gnarly thing. Then we got DBS 32C in the Hyena with Kraken and Struts. We got Bombardment Drone, Prox Mines, Bombardment Drone, and 3 Bombardment Drones or Prox Mines. That's a scary piece.
That's scary.
If one gets blown up before it gets in position to drop one of those Prox Mines, it's less scary. But if they get all of those off, there's a lot of squads that aren't going to survive that. Unless you get really lucky with your dice.
Yeah, and they're all going in with 3 calculates because of Kraken.
Yeah.
But then at Initiative 7, effectively, 32C goes, spend a calc, I'll coordinate that one out of your arc, but I can still drop a proximity mine on you.
Flip your tail, yeah.
Yep.
I love the coordinate. 32C is awesome. And somebody commented after the latest XWA points change, I think their exact comment was 32C back, ? Which sounds like yes.
Oh, yeah.
That was the 7th place. Okay, so do you have a sense for what beat this? Why did it not make it higher than 7th?
So, he played Corrington. Corrington list, obviously the one that's 4th in the top cut, as we're looking at it, has a list that doesn't necessarily have to engage on the terms you want it to, because it's 3 aces and a lambda, and because it has so many crits. The Hyena's very susceptible to a crit result. He can just pick them off, and you can, because of how the proximity bombers drop their things, Soontir is immune to it because he's like, right off shot, I'll barrel roll out of the way now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it shuts off a lot of the things, and he can react to the DBS 32C coordinate as well. So it was one of those. It's a rough matchup for Dom, which is why
I
didn't get past that one.
Sure, up there for a hard counter to the list. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man, I'm looking at I just pulled up Corrington's list. It didn't show in Longshanks, but there was a link to Yasby, and I'm looking at it now. And we'll actually talk about this one in more detail in a second. But yeah, that does make sense. Yeah. All right. No, I like that, but this feels like a very risky list because the thing about Dom's list, I love it, but it's got that hammer and anvil type thing where if you're even one hyena's out of position, you either lose it or it just is in the wrong place. You lose a lot of pressure that way, and then if Django goes down, you pretty much lost the game.
Yeah.
So if the opposing list is able to alpha down Django and or range control the hyenas, which a lot of lists out there are built to do that. So this is it's got a lot of tools, but it's still a very lean list where there are multiple ways to outplay it.
Yeah, I will give Dom his dues here. I do think Dom is one of the best players in the world. Like, he did really well at Worlds. He won the Sith Taker Open back in February.
Okay.
Like, he regularly represents England in the XTC. He won the WTC with the Southern Pirates last year as well. And he's accomplished with almost every faction. I think in the last season, when people were trying to win invites to the last Worlds, he won, I think it was 5 or 6 invites.
Damn.
Well, it's the what's the snarky thing that we would say from the colonies? It's the UK meta. It doesn't count.
Yeah, tiny European meta, right?
That's very impressive. And Dom, you heard that here. I hope you send Liam some flowers after that.
He won't listen to me. I've told him regularly, and he's like, "Shut up, I'm a nobody." Because when we mention his name, people don't know who he is. I'm like in the UK, we all know who he is, but abroad, like in any other country, especially outside of Europe, nobody's got a clue who he is. And then he'll just come in, smash you up, and they'll be like, "I don't understand what's happened. I've just lost to a nobody." And like Dom is unreal with the games that he plays.
Maybe
Phenomenal
he's banking on that anonymity, so people don't look up his games. They don't know who he is. So if they see him in like the world's list, they'll be like, whatever. This is a scrub. We'll get past him, and maybe that works in his favor.
It definitely does. The amount of lists he posts online asking for opinions, and people just tell them they're bad, and then he will then go win 2, 3 tournaments with it and go, "Is it bad?" I'm like, "No, Dom, it's not. I told you it wasn't."
I do think that we do have a sort of collective hive mind thing where it's, and I've talked about this many times. I don't want to harp on it too much, but there is an instinctive like gravitate toward a single way to play, and then if something's outside of that way, you automatically discount it. Like you just kind of throw it out. And there is so much room for experimentation and kind of getting wild here that I'd love to see that, like the creative stuff that kind of works. I got into this awful rabbit hole of watching their YouTube video streams of somebody playing this like hyper pixelated Pokemon game, and it's Pokemon duels where people are real jerks, and the streamer kicks their butt with like 6 Bidoofs. But yeah, just by like using the mechanics of the game to actually win it in a way that people would never ever do it because they're not running all legendary dragons. That was a total tangent. Let's talk about Niels. Niels Dieter, the only Republic player to make the top 8. A little bit of everything. Okay. I don't see a single duplicate chassis here. We've got Ada 2 Anakin, Patience and Predator. Is that custom Ada 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Patience Predator on there at the i6 Ada 2. That is a ballsy play right off the gate. Okay. And then we've got Hound in the lat, 7 Fleet Gunner, Agile Gunner, and ablative plating. I absolutely love that there is a ship in the game that can take 2 gunners. The lat is such an interesting ship to me. And then we got Oddball in the Torrent with marksmanship, proton torpedoes, proton rockets, synced console. That also is custom Oddball, if I'm not mistaken. And then we've got Glow in the Delta 7 with CLT, Compassion, and Patience. I love that Compassion Patience combo. That feels very much like that's a very thematic upgrade set for Plo. And then we've got the Knack in the Z95 with synced console and plasma torpedoes. My immediate instinct is that this doesn't have enough firepower.
Yeah.
So you got CLT Plo. You've got proton torpedoes, but on a torrent. It's a good I5 torrent with the support from the lat, but like you've got 3, 4 ships on here that can only really throw 2 dice reliably.
I think it's good. So we've got Anakin who's an I6. Yep. It can double reposition. It's not as good as a standard double reposition, but it's also better than a standard double reposition because it can put you in places your opponent can't fathom. Like you can boost on a certain angle, and then you can 4K over the top of it. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Obi-Wan, one of the American players. He has masterclassed me so many times with Obi and Annie letters. Like he'll just start doing boosts, and I'm like, honestly, mate, I may as well concede now because you completely outplayed me.
Yeah.
I don't know where you wound up. Oh man.
Yep.
And I love that in the Jedi fighters, that the Jedi fighters are the ships that do that. That was a really good ship design across the board. Like I love the Jedi fighters, all of them. I'm still iffy on the lats. I like them, but I feel like they're in a really tricky balance spot because you can't make them too cheap or they're going to be everywhere. But you can't make them too expensive because then they'll never be played. And you can't give them too much loadout or they'll get completely run across the board with the Republic upgrades you can get. So they're a really challenging piece to balance. And raw stats are bad. Like in terms of their offensive output, their own like stats on the ship itself. Like it's a bad chassis that you can either make too powerful or too weak. And I do not envy you guys in the design team trying to figure out how to balance those things.
So the issue with, and this isn't to badmouth the former custodians of the game AMG, the game that they created ensured that you didn't need support pieces.
Sure.
Because it was like, oh, look at all this damage I can get with my damage pieces. So one of the first things we wanted to do in the points team was to bring the power level down and bring some reliability on support pieces back.
Sure.
And it's such a difficult wheel to tune because, as you said, they're either too expensive so you don't bother, or they're too cheap and they're a problem. So we're really having to delicately manage the levers with loadout, standard points value, and the points value of the things that they can support to try and give them relevancy, and I think it's working so far.
Sure.
Yeah, most definitely, because we've seen the HWK problem in the past for Scum.
Yes.
Yeah. And now I think they're in a decent spot, but Scum has like really bad. So the challenge is different for Republic, right? Because they have so many good pilot abilities, faction specific upgrades, and upgrades that give you like really powerful support pieces, like passing out force, giving free actions, passing out target locks. Like there's so much synergy that Republic can pull off that other factions can't. And Scum's like support crew is kind of funny. I love them, but it's always like, we're going to give you this thing, but you got to hurt yourself to do it. It's like, all right, why doesn't anyone else have to do that? Yeah, I do think it's a little bit uniquely challenging balancing out the lat. At the same time, though, it's the kind of ship where I'm kind of okay with it being a little bit underpowered because making the game rely on support pieces, it's nice to be able to bring them in there to really bring out your squadrons, but at the same time, having that be a requirement that you have to lean on support pieces is not really a great place either. Yeah, there's definitely a razor's edge to walk on that one.
Yeah, it's difficult, but I think there's some squads that need the support piece. But again, you can run a Republic squad with just arcs and a couple of flavor pieces in there where you don't need it. So there is variety within the faction. It's just a list dependent necessity rather than a you need this.
Yeah, and the lat is, I really appreciate the free reroll piece that it brings, and then that 7 fleet gunner, of course, and then agile gunner to make sure you have stuff in there. I just like agile gunner as an upgrade. I'm a little confused about ablative plating. Is that so you can blast over prox mines and not worry about it, or what are we talking about here?
Just because so you can go over obstacles without suffering damage.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
so
on a ship,
yeah.
I mean, so one of the key things that I've seen Niels do when he's setting up, when it comes to placing objectives, especially in things like assault, you can place 3 objectives where they're all range 2 from each other, but you can set a medium or large base in the middle of those, and you can count as touching all 3 of them.
Oh,
it's something that's very common in my region as well, in North Queensland. It's something that we're always trying to do and always trying to stop people from doing it. But you take a bladed plating, so if they put an obstacle in the middle to try and stop it, you go, I don't care anyway. I'll just take 1 damage instead of potentially 2. And I'll get my 3 points.
Okay. All right. So different question on this one. Go ahead.
And then once you've moved onto it and overlapped it, you can 0 stop because you can't be affected by the same obstacle that you're overlapping.
Oh yeah. No, that's true. Okay. Yeah. All right. I can see that behind there. So that makes more sense because I was kind of thinking like, what else would I put in place of that? But that's a really good strategic objective play. And using that 0 stop in that way is also a really strong case for the lat in this list and in general. Yeah, that makes sense. So that actually, the last list I asked, why did this list not perform better than it? Like, why was it 8th place? How did this guy get the 7th? Like, what was the strategic advantage of this?
Let me see if I can find.
He lost to the scum player in the top 8.
I played
Okay.
the scum.
I'm looking at the wrong list. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong list. Ignore me. I was looking at the wrong player. I got excited and I was looking at my beloved scum.
And I am actually curious.
He lost to Sam Cooper, so 2nd place.
Oh, okay.
CIS on
Yeah,
top.
the Separatist, yeah.
Yeah. But he was undefeated going into almost undefeated into the top cut.
Okay. That's very impressive with a list that I look at and don't fully understand right away. Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, there's a lot of low-key damage in there.
Sure.
I mean, Nak with the Plasma Torps is initiative 5. Obviously, it's on a 4 health ship, but if you keep him at a kind of safe distance, he's at a good initiative to take locks. And he also doesn't have to spend his lock because the lat's there. We've got the proton torpedoes and rockets on Oddball.
Oh, yeah, didn't quite. Yeah, okay.
So
And Oddball, if he stays close to Knack, can also pass off those locks as well with that synced console.
Yep. Yeah. And the fact that if you've got a procket and he's in the arc of the lats, let me just re-roll 2 of those dice.
Roll 2 probably have a lock. Yeah. Oh, yeah, so you can get the reroll and then still pass off the lock. Yeah, okay. That's some good synergy there.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Nice. All right, Denny the Sicilian. I wonder what country he's from. I'm assuming that is the Italian flag. Yes, okay. Americans, very bad geography. Like all these flags, kind of blend. So I shouldn't have said any of that. That's terrible. Okay, this is actually another one I wanted to talk about because this exact Ketsu build appears later on as well. And there's another list I wanted to shout out for another reason. But this is a 4-ship scum list. It's got custom Han, not even the new XWA one. We've got custom Han in the Falcon, with Trickshot, Maul, Greedo, Hotshot Tail Blaster. Oh, interesting. Engine upgrade, and then Lando's title. Then we've got Ketsu in the Lancer, Fearless, Kira Crew, Contraband Cybernetics, Mando Optics, Shadowcaster, sure. Then we've got the standard loadout, Naboo Mando. And then we've got Dirge with Proton Cannons and Contraband. I'm still sad when Dirge has no loadout. I get why he doesn't have a ton of loadout, but like there's so much you can do with a rogue because of the slot combinations it's got.
Yeah.
It's still, but like Dirge with protons is still a really, really strong piece. Dead to rights on a proton cannon is a high risk upgrade combo, but when you land those hits, oof, God, that hurts.
I don't think it's that high risk in an I5 piece. If you're just looking at sticking that on something like Nom Lamor CAD, where they move at a lower initiatives, it's harder to line up.
Yeah.
But when you've got those reposition combinations where it's a focus into barrel roll or focus into boost, it's not as difficult to line up as you'd originally think.
Especially if you can bully stuff with the Falcon and Ketsu, and the Lancer could potentially move stuff into your attack arc, also choosing to shoot before Dirge, being that I5. Yeah, that's,
Yeah, nothing lower than I5 in this list.
Yeah. And I'm looking at that Han, And I'm thinking the Hotshot Tail Blaster makes sense if you keep your arc pointed left, right, and so you still have a shot out the rear. It's very strange.
Which Scum Harm usually does just rotate around the battlefield as a result. So it's handy having that hot shot. But Han Maul has seen a lot of popularity at the moment.
So a couple things about this, right? So it's a small list. It's only got 4 ships. Especially in that Han, I get that Maul gives you access to, like, say, 2 force a turn, right? But I still think, like, for me personally, if I'm ever running this, I bring Lando Crew and IGD, or not contraband cybernetics, the overtune modulators, like some way to give yourself multiple rerolls, multiple mods, instead of the single force point. Now, I get that force is consistent, it's always there, always happens, but being able to mod more dice more times, I feel like is just better, and it's dramatically cheaper than Maul. And so I wonder if that was a holdout, and I would love somebody to throw the numbers at me to just get me to shut up about that. But that still is kind of one thing I always hang up on.
It's the Maul crew lists I'm seeing on Han is actually Pride of Mandalore Maul, so it gives you the purple coordinate instead, and it's 2 points cheaper.
Okay.
So I6 coordinate. I6 coordinate and 2 points cheaper. You don't have to coordinate, but it's handy to have it's immensely handy to have an I6 coordinate.
Yeah, the I6 coordinate is really, really powerful, and that doesn't have the limitation of the pilot, so you could coordinate another I6, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. All right, that makes more sense. So I was thinking the wrong Maul. I was thinking the one that you could stress to take the additional force, but that's better. I want to watch some of the battle reports on that, some of the streams, because, like, Greedo. But that, I guess, is why you take the Tail Blaster, because you better hope you never don't have a shot.
Yeah,
and
he
then
definitely
having that
on stream once as well.
Yeah, having Ketsu back that up too. It's a lot harder to flank that Falcon if you have a Lancer throwing your stuff around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a really cool. I love this. It's just very, very Scum, like some of the top pilots in the faction. And to see a 4-ship Scum list with 2 large bases make the top 8 is very exciting.
Yeah.
It's very similar to what I've been flying. I've been flying Dengar instead of Han. Exact same Ketsu build, and then pick your 2 4-point small ships for what you think you're going to be going against.
Whenever I get into lists like this, I always am tempted to do 3-3-2, but Scum doesn't have a 2-point anymore, does it?
Yeah, it does. It's got the
it does. Mining Guild tie is 2 points.
Oh, that's right, the stock one. Okay, so you could do that.
Yeah.
All right. But the 4-pointers are so good, it's hard to justify that. The other thing I always reach for is 5 4-point ships, but I really like the 6 and 7-point ships so much, it's hard to do that either. So, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and even if you up one of these 6-point large ships to a 7-point ship, you just drop one of your small base ships down to one of your I3 quadrajets, which is just going to be your support ship.
Love that thing. Oh god, I'm so glad the Jumpmaster, the tugboat's back. Oh, ridiculous ships. All right, let's go ahead and jump to Quarantine, who we've already talked about a little bit, and let's jump back to the list, which I think I have on 8. Yeah. So we've got Vader in the TIE Advanced. Custom Vader looks like predictive shot, prockets, and passive sensors. Custom Vader? Okay. Nasty Quarantine. That's a surprise. Then we've got Soontir Fel. Battle over Endor Soontir with that Apex Predator. I just love that Apex Predator, like, that talent is really cool.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
I got into the game playing Empire and then went all in on Scum when Scum was released in the game way back in first edition. I've played Scum ever since, but I've always sort of been drawn back to that, like, Imperial Aces thing. Yeah, and so, like, the new Soontir and the new Phantoms really have me tempted to come back. Speaking of, there's Whisper, and this looks like it's custom Whisper with 5th Brother and targeting computer. Wow.
Which is pretty standard for Whisper.
But to not run the standard loadout?
Standard loadout is cheaper. 6 points. Yeah, it is.
So custom Whisper is cheaper.
Oh, it's gotcha. Okay, and so that's how you fit this all in there.
Yeah.
All right. Gnarly.
And then
we've got Lambda or Lieutenant Sai and the Lambda, who does the coordinate and then can do the thing himself, which is funny. I always forget about that ability because it is something I'm much more used to from the First Order shuttle, the guy that would just self-coordinate himself all the time. But yeah, that's so focus you, focus me, lock you, lock me. That's yeah, even as an I3 when in a Lambda, that still is a fun ship. You guys made the Lambda 4 points.
That was
That's a
before I joined the team. We've looked at it since, and we've had to remove some stuff from it, loadout wise. But it's such a beast.
yeah, it's only got 3 loadout, but like this thing with that ability and those hit points at 4 points, it's still 100% worth it. And here, Captain Hart, after you fully execute a red maneuver, if you're not focused, you may spend 1 charge to gain 1 focus token 2 times, 2 non-recurring charges. Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's good.
That does let you 0 stop and still focus.
Yep.
Yes.
You got the jam, double
it's still
king, double crew.
Yeah, it's still a 3 dice front arc. So if you get that nice juicy I3 stop it, bait someone into range 1, you've still got that focus for a range 1 shot, and Sunti, Whisper, or Vader is probably going to be not too far away from you to be able to also capitalize on that. So you've got side just cleaning up whatever they beat down.
Even just initiative 3, you're just a really good blocker.
100%.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And it sounds like Corrington was a very scary pilot too, or a really good flyer.
Corrington is a phenomenal player. He won the STO in 2024. And his ace play is brilliant. Like, he will find the positions where you can't physically stop him, and he will punish you for it. But he like, I played against him. We drew 17-17. And obviously the tiebreaker happened, but he pulled me from pillar to post. I was constantly just trying to put out small fires to try and keep him from killing stuff and just trying to chip damage in. He's a brilliant, brilliant player.
And that kind of list is actually the entire reason that I play Ketsu nonstop ever since she was released. Because like she'll pin down those aces and get one of them out of the way so I can deal with the rest. Yeah, I run her as my like murdery ace hunter to help protect the whole rest of the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I've more or less been using her too.
Yep. Sometimes it works. To start some beef, just to go ahead and start some beef here, Liam. Is Corrington better or is Ollie better at your Imperial Ace play?
I think I would be more inclined to say Ollie, simply because of that Worlds win. And I've seen him play aces time and time again, and it is just an unreal experience. Like, you think you've pinned something down and it's gone, whereas Corrington's more squirrely.
Sure. And Ollie still runs the 3 ships, right? He still runs just 3 heavy aces.
No, he's because of the 20-point system. He's more on the four aces now, and he's running something in FO, which is kind of punchy and has some ace play, especially with like ships like Von Reg. It gives him that nice little knife fire that can just be an absolute pain to everyone.
Okay. So now we need to see a challenge match, a grudge match between Ollie and Corrington.
One of those
Maybe.
might be coming up in Belgium for the WTC.
Oh, nice. Ah, Belgium. I love Belgium. All right, let's see. Jumping here, Jonathan Hall in number 3. This is a Sith taker, and another one where the list is. Oh no, there it goes. Okay. Ooh, this is the other first order. So we're top 4. This is where it's really. Wait. So this is third. So this is the third player.
Yeah.
In Swiss. So we got first order here. We got Whisper Kylo with Malice, Concussion Missile, Sensor Scrambler, Jamming Suite.
Yep.
Got Lieutenant Lehuse in the SF. There it is. The format on this one is weird with Determination, Concussion Missiles, and First Order Ordnance Tech.
Yeah, that's the evacuation of Dakar standard loadout.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. And then we've got Long Shot and the TIFO. Again, with Determination, that's also Dakar.
Yep.
It's cool to see that. I haven't seen. I don't think I saw any of the Dakar stuff in Resistance make the event, but I don't know if I just missed it. But then this is the first time I've seen it for FO too. Then we got Nightfall Whisper. This looks like custom with elusive proton rocket, sensor scrambler, and jamming suite. So double whispers.
Yep.
And then we've got Breach in the SE Bomber, which I haven't seen in a while. Debris Gambit, plasma torpedoes, thermal detonators, and delayed fuses. Okay. Nasty. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ship FO list, which every single thing is a threat in its own right. They're all durable. Yeah, lots of jam, lots of evades, some force and Kylo. Very good on objectives, but then also just good at like getting all over the board and messing up your plans. I could see this struggling against some alpha lists, like the heavy-hitting Rebel alpha lists. I feel like would have given this trouble. And since those weren't really here in the event very much, this had a much easier path to the top. But still, it had to be played really well. There's a lot of ships that could really mess up if you don't fly them just right.
Well, it's a lot of ships and not a lot of health.
You've got the TIFOs. Well, the bomber and this SF is a lot of chonk. But yeah, the whispers are squishy, and then you've got just an FO in there.
Yeah.
But it's still a 5-ship list. You've got 3 evade on, well, okay. It actually is low evade for a first order list because you've got 2 evade on 3 of the ships. The whispers can get 3 evade if they're positioned correctly, and usually are, but sometimes aren't. And then the bomber is always 2 evade.
Yep.
And that's where the double whisper is a gamble on that, just because it does take down your total green dice for the whole squad by a good bit, especially in first order. So, okay. Still, you got double concussion missiles, plasma torpedoes. You do have and proton rockets. So you have decent alpha on this too. Yikes! Elusive prockets on Nightfall in the Whisper. And can the I think I need to check these because the Whisper can't shoot missiles backwards, right?
Correct. Yes, it can. No. Yes, it can. Yes.
It cannot. It can.
Yep.
Okay. Because that's where I think like
if Kylo has a lock, he can fly straight past you, focus, rotate, and he's launching them at you still.
Yeah. So that's where I can see Nightfall with those Prockets being a real nasty piece.
Prockets doesn't work because Prockets is bullseye arc only, and you can only treat the front arc as the turret indicator. So Prockets don't work.
Okay. So I would be curious if, in hindsight, Jonathan would have been tempted to take a different ordnance other than Prockets to have that option to shoot them backwards. But I could see Prockets being a really good hunch to get some damage through when you really need it to.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the Hughes.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Nightfall's pilot ability again?
After you fully execute a maneuver or perform a boost action, each ship you move through gains 2 jam tokens.
Oh yeah, no, that's really good. Okay, yeah.
So yeah, the idea is you're not trying to procket a high initiative, you're trying to procket the low initiative support ships. You just chuck a 4K or a 5K straight over the back sloop. Or if you've got your
But if you do that, you're stressed. Yeah. How do you get your focus to fire the Prockets?
True. There's probably ways to do it.
So the way you'd use this is you fly into something and you just go focus jam.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, like with the way that objectives are, and with a decent turn 0, you can position the rocks in such a way where they've got to go into this channel to interact with an objective. So you just put yourself in that channel as well, and probably like 7 times out of 10, they'll be in your bullseye. Or if you go for a straight up joust, you force repositions early. It's not necessarily using the Procket, it's the threat of the Procket that has the most influence on the game.
Very familiar with that. I flew a bunch of Battle over Endor Wedge, and it was a much more successful list when I didn't even shoot the advanced proton torpedo, but people definitely moved to avoid the advanced proton torpedo. Yeah, I could definitely see that. And then Nightfall, if you get in a dangerous position, just sloop over someone, hit them with 2 jams, and then you're behind them.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So that one did well. third place, really, really good. And I assume a lot of those games are very close, so could potentially have gotten up above that very quickly. Looking at this, I'm not sure Longshanks has this correct, because this has the win, loss, draw. Well, I guess for top cut, so it's just for in the cut. Your bottom four all lost their first game.
Yeah.
Third and fourth went 1-1. Second went 2-1. Sam went 2-1. Let's look at Sam's list. And then you went 3-0 with no losses in the top 8. But wait a minute, you had a draw. But I guess that was before you made cut.
Yeah, so if you scroll down, you'll see main event, and then you'll see the actual
4-1.
Swiss.
Yep. Got it.
So
Corrington went 5-0 and still didn't pull it out. Oh, man. Wow. Okay. But he did make the cut. He just, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Oof. So wait, what? Who beat Corrington? Who knocked him out of the cut?
Sam.
Oh, Sam did. Nice. Okay. That's right. We talked about that already. I just had to double check that. Speaking of Sam, you guys are both really excited about this. We got Pre-Vizsla and the Gauntlet. But first, we have Grievous with Soulless 1, Impervium Plating, and Outmaneuver. Classic Grievous, now back from the dead, as he does, coughing, wheezing. Pre-Vizsla with Swivel Wings, Zam Crew, Deathwatch Commandos. Commandos are back. Dead Man's Switch. Okay. Notorious and Dropseat Bay. And then we got DFS 081, Siege of Coruscant. We've got DFS 311, good old doofus, Siege of Coruscant. And then we got the BIS T81 Tri-Fighter, Siege of Coruscant. And that's a 5-ship list. This is a scum list. It's separate of ships, but this is a scum list. Bulbalab is your rogue. You've got a gauntlet, and then you've got your 3-point ships that aren't 3 points. And then you have, and he also stands out for taking all rocks, and it looks like all big rocks. I haven't been checking the obstacles since called them out before, but
yeah, I think they're the big rocks from Pride of Mandalore.
Yep, they have that blue tint. Yeah. So what in the heck? Okay, so you played this in the final. This was your final Separatist mirror match, and we're going to look at your list in a minute to contrast. Go ahead.
I also played this in round 2 of Swiss.
Oh, you played him twice. Did you beat him both times?
Yes.
Yes. This isn't the one that you lost in the tiebreaker. Yeah.
No, that was Corrington.
Right. Yuck. Okay, so talk to me about this gauntlet, this Pre-Vizsla, because that is very similar to that Django we looked at in the beginning. That's a ship you need to burn bright and burn hot. It's got to take some stuff down because it's almost certainly going to die, and you have to make sure it's made up its value before then. And that's kind of a thing with the gauntlets, is you kind of expect to lose them. So you want to make sure they do get their value back some way or another first. And you can challenge me on that one, Narkexi. I know you fly a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that if you fly them right, you usually end up still keeping one. Like it can stay on the table. That's assuming you kill them before they kill you. Obviously.
And that's assuming you fly more than one.
Yeah. Even if you're just flying one, because I have still flown solo bow, I've still flown solo maul. The mindset is you have to fly them hard, you have to fly them fast. If they get put into a position where they're bumping turn after turn and they don't get the ability to not be in the middle of everything, then they're not going to survive long. So you need a lot of table presence and a lot of foresight. Granted, Pre-Vizsla's I3, Rook Cast is also I3, so usually you're moving before other ships get inside, so you're using them to bump, and then you can just go, I'm not going to be here anymore, and force straight out of there. So it's a very efficient jousting ship, because after you force straight out, you can red stop, turn around, lose your 1 agility, but by then, if they're trying to turn around to fight you, they're usually going to be outside that range 3 mark, or they're not going to be modding dice anyway.
And that's one of the things I really like about the Bo-Katan SL, like the Armed and Dangerous Bo-Katan. She's got some extra maneuver options. Makes her a faster, more maneuverable gauntlet, which I like. It's cool to see the ship actually be able to fly, because I'm thinking, like, in Scum, you've more or less got Maul and Rook, and you fly Rook expecting her to get shot at before she shoots, which is always a bit of a bummer, but you end up like using your reinforce as an offensive mod with Lando. Or you bring Maul, and you got to be super, super careful with him, or he's going to be bumped all game. And it's such a
Exactly.
big, awkward ship. It's really hard to fly an I-5 without bumping.
Yeah.
But with Pre at I3, you do have a little bit of that initiative and just be able to, like, I will intentionally gum up this board and, hey, oh, look, I have a dead man switch.
Yeah, and Pre loves it as well with the high initiatives that are running around, because when he performs an attack, if the defender's initiative is equal or greater than yours, spend 2 energy to roll 1 additional die. So an unfortunate I5, I6 finds himself at range 1 of Pre. That's now 5 dice being thrown at an I. That's a 5 die shot being thrown at a I5, I6 ship.
And I think that
yeah.
does that also apply to Zam bonus shots? So can you do a Zam bonus shot with an extra die? Or is it?
Yeah, you can.
You'd have to choose which one. Yeah.
Sure.
Because he's only got 2 energy, so you'd have to choose which shot.
Oh yeah, but you could do that if you're going to do that.
100%.
Shot. So
So
you could potentially kill an I5 or an I6.
You could potentially roll you could potentially roll 9 dice.
But because you've got Sam, you could, even if you haven't got the bonus shot one active, you can regain a charge for You Better Thank Me, get a lock. So when you come to shoot, you've got a focus, you've got a lock. They're also probably notorious, so they're strained.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a 5 dice banger into what will now be a 1/2 ad ship.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt.
That also is assuming that you don't. There's the downside to that, is that means that none of your other ships shoot at it, so that it keeps that strain until it's your time to shoot. Whereas you've got a bunch of other ships that will shoot for free. So you've got Grievous is I4, and
I4,
then
DIS is also I4. But the thing is, you've got to take into account there, you've also got the Deathwatch commandos. So if they land on a commando, they get a strain.
Yeah.
You've also got 2 outmaneuver pieces in DIS T81 and General Grievous, and they are always going to be double modded.
But they'll also shoot at stuff before Pre shoots at it.
Yeah, but if it's dead, Pre just then starts shooting other things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Shots.
Yeah. No, and I like that. And that's I think Dengar does some of that. They have Armed and Dangerous Dengar has some stuff to set up those early like murder shots, but he's I6, so he tends to be shooting before the rest of the squad. But yeah, this has a similar thing. It's top heavy though, where once Pre goes down, you better hope that he did a lot of damage first, because you lose a lot of teeth in this list. Because with Grievous at 5, that's a big chunk out of the list.
Yeah, you want to be losing your gauntlet in the first re-engagement onwards. Mm-hmm. You don't want to lose him in. You don't want to lose him in the first engage, like straight away in the first round or in the second round where things are still closing in, where the big scuffle's still going on. You want everything to have flown away and started turning around now. That's when you really want your gauntlet to go down.
Yeah, not in that first engage. If you're spectacularly unlucky. I think I saw this list in at least one of the plays I saw, and he got some very lucky kills. I believe it was against Republic, but Pre was at like 2 hull by the end of that engagement, and it was like a very hard clench, hoping that he would make it through the end of that round, and he did, but it was close.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this guy Liam, some dude from the Sith Takers. I don't know about this guy.
Scrub.
Your list also doesn't show up correctly in Longsang, so I've got to click on the Yasby thing and see all this mess. All right, we got Churtek. So your list looks completely different from all of the other lists and all the other Separatist lists we've seen. And I'm going to kind of talk meta about that in a second, but you got Nantex, Churtek, the 4-point I5 with Gravitic and Ensnare. Churtek can take Gravitic and Ensnare. He is I4. Okay, all right, fair point. And then we've got DIS T81 in the Tri-Fighter, so that's why you spoke with some definite expertise on that one. Then we've got CAD in the Rogue, and then we've got 2 bombardment drones with prox mines, the Vulture or the Hyenas, and then we've got DFS 311 in the Vulture. So talk to me about this. Let's hear about the list.
So this is a hybrid of the Sunfac Grievous triple bombardment DFS list that was floating around and seeing success. The issue is, I'm good with Sunfac, but I'm better with Chertek, and Sunfac has more counterplay because he's an I6. Everything has moved before he goes where he wants to go, and sometimes, well, for me, like 40% of the time, he's getting blocked, and I got fed up. So I dropped Sunfac to Chertek because I'm way better with Chertek than I am Sunfac, and I was like, well, I've got 19-point list, so I'll remove a bombardment drone. I've now got 4 points. I'll stick Cad Bane in. So the original list was Chertek, Grievous, Cad Bane, 2 bombardments, and DFS. Points change happened. I had to adapt. Grievous drops out. I put in DIST81 because he does the same thing, but with a faster dial. He's not as survivable, but sometimes he's like a cockroach. You can throw everything at him and he will survive. He just takes no damage, and I'm like, see you later. And then I had to adapt to Cad Bane because he saw a loadout reduction, so I could no longer take sync laser cannons and prockets with munitions failsafe. So
I see the eye on
I
HLC.
was originally trying.
Yeah.
I was originally trying sync laser and thermals, but it changed how I used CAD a bit too much. So I went for an ion cannon because the sync laser cannons were only ever really putting 1 damage in at that range. So I was like, well, an ion cannon does the exact same thing, and if I get an ion on, that's fine because it benefits me next turn, and I get the
That's
HLC
you, yeah.
for that bullseye spike to go on top of the dead to rights.
I would rather the 1 damage ion than 2 damage if you manage to sneak a 2nd damage in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this, I really like this, especially the double cannon build on Separatist CAD because of that difference in the pilot ability where he gets the free actions when friendly ships die. Like that makes those cannons much more devastating because he's getting free mods if you're starting to lose ships.
It's not friendly ships, it's any ship.
Any ship?
Yep.
No.
It's any ship.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's way better.
Yeah, I have had.
Oh, God.
I've versed CIS where I've managed to kill some stuff, and then CAD's like, you know what? I'm just gonna make sure I don't die this round with the rest of your list because now I've got an evade.
He does have the evade. There it is. And can you do a focus or a linked action? So he's not stressed. Enemy ship dies. You could then evade barrel roll.
I'm
not too sure, but if you could, you do it even while stressed. So you could still do. If you could still do the linked action. Heck, you can just go. You know what? It's end of the. We're at the end. I'm not stressed. It's a low initiative ship that's killed a low initiative ship. I'm just gonna cloak.
I was just thinking, like, that would be a terrible idea, but you could, yeah, okay.
And then you just immediately decloak, and you've got a remarkable set of blues to really put him where you want him to be next round.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone describe the rogue as having a remarkable set of blues.
I mean, it's got banks, 2 banks, and then the 2 through to 4 straights.
They're okay. Yeah, but it doesn't have any hard turns.
No, yeah, but for what you want the rogues to do, though, they're
that's true.
Remarkable because they're very much a hit and run ship. So you've got that damage off. If you get that cloak after CAD's fired, then you cloak, decloak, then just do a 4 straight, and you're nowhere near anyone. And you can just do that after an initial round of engagement, go deep into the enemy backline and just loiter in the backline for objectives back there. And it's going to take them 2 rounds to turn around to get you. At which time you can easily just recloak yourself and disappear to the other corner of the board again.
And now, if this is salvage, could he destroy a ship that has a crate and then use this action to pick up that crate?
No. So when it comes to interacting with objectives, you can only use your action in the perform action step, which is why Poe can't take a focus, then pick something up. He can only pick it up with his first action.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I knew that was true of coordinate. I didn't remember that was true of abilities like this. Okay. It's still like that. That's super good, and that's a huge advantage if you're going up against another separatist list. Like I could see that being really good. For me too, I never fly Grievous, I've tried to before, but I cannot get a handle on the dial. I don't like the dial at all. Whereas the Tri-Fighter dial is amazing, and so I really appreciate swapping Grievous for the 4-point DIS T81. I would, yeah, that's the kind of change that I would definitely make too.
Like, it's such a underrated ship because I used it in AMG points when I was running a 6-ship CIS Salad then, and so he was 4 points then. We had a power level decrease, and he still remained 4 points. So technically, he's got better for his value. So why wouldn't I take him when he's better now because everything else is a tiny bit weaker and he's remained the same points?
And both of you guys did. It was that you both brought DIS T81 in that final match in the end there.
Yeah, it's such a strong piece.
Mm-hmm.
Man, winning the event with Nantex. And did I hear correctly that you like Chertek because he's actually easier to fly because he's less prone to bumping because he's moving earlier?
Yeah, so I have more board information when I'm using Chertek.
Sure.
Because there's an abundance of I5s and 6s, and 50% of the time, on average, I'm moving before I4s. I pick where I go. The fact that I'm also partnering it with 2 other I4s, and I fly them together, I pick which one activates first,
Oh, yeah.
so I can find all the positions I need to. I use him for the first 2-3 turns as a support ship, ensnaring my own ships into better positions.
Love that. That's a BS gimmick I talked about ages ago and never thought anyone would actually do it. And I've got to see some of I didn't see any of your stream games, and I want to see that happen. Like throwing your own ships around the board is just
It's taken me a bit to start doing it with my own lancers.
Oh, sure.
Because, yeah, Ketsu's ability is any ship at range 1.
And Chertek has the pilot ability that is the reroll. Yeah, so he's got the reroll against a tractored opponent. Okay. So free offensive mod. That's really good.
So he doesn't roll as many red dice, but the red dice he does throw are more consistent
Than Sunfac. And that's also not attack arc dependent. So it could be your turret, could be your primary bullseye, either one.
Yes, so I can tractor someone in my left arc with the tractor, barrel roll them into my bullseye, and then hit them with 4 dice, double modded.
Nice. Okay. Love it.
And it's it's just a really nice control list. I send the
Yeah.
bombardments to the middle, and because the bombardments have a rightfully earned terrible reputation for being arseholes, people want to get rid of those. So
Especially if you're tractoring them around the board, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the first couple of turns, the tractor is used to get the Tri-Fighter into a more advanced position, so I can swing around the board, which has helped quite a bit. So if you were to watch the final stream game, I think I tractor DIS forward, and then the next turn I do a 4 forward, afterburners forward, and then barrel roll out of arc of the vulture. I'm at range 1, I roll 4 dice. So I've got no tokens. I roll 4 dice, I get like 3 focuses and a blank, and I'm like, guess I'm taking 4 depletes. And then I roll those into 3 hits and a crit and just kill the vulture.
That's right, T81. Let's see. That's while you defend or perform an attack, you may reroll a number of your dice. If you were defending, gain 1 strain token for each that was rerolled. If you're attacking, gain 1 deplete for each die that was rerolled. And then he's just spending the next 4 turns pulling those off.
Well, 2 turns, because
you lose one and you shoot. Lose one, you do a blue. Yeah, okay.
A 1-hearted first, so I kept it and then barrel rolled. But then I was just doing 2 forward shoot, 2 forward shoot, and then I was back on full dice.
Ship. I really like that. It's such a wonky ship. I've heard there were some nicknames for this thing about what was it? I forget. GSP had some funny nicknames for this one because of the rerolling dice and the infinite tokens. Yeah, that was a while ago. Yeah, let's see. Okay. And Gravitic for the extra defense. Nice. I like this. This is an incredibly ballsy list, though. Like, it's really
Oh,
evenly
yeah.
spread out in points, so you're not going to be really hamstrung if any one of these pieces dies. And that feels very much like the strongest advantage, just in terms of victory points for Separatists, is that you have really good, effective ways to spread out your points. But then also each individually of these has passive mods. CAD getting a free actions, DIS3 and one of the rerolls, Chertek having free rerolls from both Gravitic and his pilot ability. Hyenas don't have mods, but they have the prox mine, so they don't need them offensively, and they're just kind of tough. And then, of course, DFS 311 is just hanging out there as the odd man out again. Your 2-point odd man out.
So he just sits on a rock, and every turn he throws a calculate out. But there's been times where I need to get a calculate to DISTA-E1, but he's just outside that range 3. But he's at range 1 of a, say, like CAD, who is at range 3 of DIS. So I just throw the calculate to CAD, and because I've got network calculations, I can steal it from CAD.
Yep.
Okay, I hadn't even considered that yes, if CAD is somehow able to get a calculate token, he can then be a target for network calculations. Oh my god, I love it. Okay.
And so it also gives me a bit more leniency when it comes to approaching objectives. So I can pick up or tag an objective with a bombardment drone, have the other bombardment drone with a calculate near it, but then throw a calculate to the other one that's currently tokenless. So I don't lose the action per se. I've just delayed the calculate action, if anything.
Yes.
Now, there is an elephant not in the room. So I see the bombardment drones with the prox mines. I see a lot of the token passing. I see these ships with their attack dice. In one stream game I did see, I definitely saw Discord missiles. And I don't see, and I think it was actually Sam.
It was Sam with them. Yeah, the Siege Coruscant ones have Discord missiles.
They do. Got it. Okay, yep. Because but what's funny is it was a gauntlet that was, no, he was against the Republic and he hit, I think, it was a
Double
lat that he'd hit with
Discord
a, yeah, okay. And that seemed really effective. That was a major piece of actually getting some of the kills he needed before Pre went down. Yeah. Did you consider taking Discord missiles and choose not to? Or was that something that didn't even come up because it didn't make sense in your list?
It didn't even come across for me, if
Okay.
I'm honest. The way I want the list to function, it would be nice to have them. But ever since they got errated to have 1 agility, I really struggle to see the value. And I know there's value there. It effectively acts as a weapons disabled.
Yeah.
Because it takes a shot from elsewhere, otherwise you're taking a free crit. If I could fit it in, I probably would. But because, as you can see, the only ship I can put loadout on is Chertek, and he doesn't have the missile slot to take them, so I just don't.
Sure. You could drop both bombardment drones and add in both of those 2-point Siege of Coruscant vultures, and then you have room for a whole other vulture. But
That's
that puts a massive what's the word? Target. It puts a bigger target on your 4-point ships' backs because they're a bigger advantage in terms of points. They're a much meatier thing to shoot at.
Yeah, and because the bombardment drones are such a threat, I'm just going to fly forward, bump, and you'll be in a proximity mine. You need to get rid of them. So it's I just try and put my opponents in this position going, well, who are you going to shoot? Whatever you're shooting is a bad choice.
Makes sense.
Because
And
you're
then
either shooting
the
drones so you don't take a proximity mine, but then you're getting HL siege, you're getting outmaneuvered, you're getting tracted, or you shoot the other things which are somewhat survivable, and then the bombardment drones are left to just do their own thing, which is the last thing you want.
right. And it is funny because my immediate thought is that the bombardment drones then become a 3-point better version of the what is it? The Royal Guard, the rogue class. They can add extra. What does it do? It adds extra defense dice to friendly ships.
Magna
The
Guard
Magna Guard Protector. Yeah. They do.
So if they're evading or calculating and they're in the attack arc, the ship they assign the guarded condition to rolls additional green dice.
Right. and you can do more than one additional die if you have multiple Magna Guard protectors, so up to 2 additional defense dice.
Yeah.
But if you're in bullseye, it's turned off completely. So yeah, it's always a weird one.
When I got hold of some playtest documents that I shouldn't have got hold of, I was running double protector at Sunfac. So
Ooh.
I had 5 agility, and I was like, you can't hit me. It's fine. Do what you want.
Chertek is a little bit better, right? Because he has the reroll. Oh, that's only an offense. Yeah, okay.
Only on offense, yeah.
Okay. Still, Dravidic Deflection is really good with guarded on Chertek. But yes, I did. I ran pretty much that exact list in a couple test games just for fun because I was like, I wasn't running Sun Fat because I thought he was too vulnerable and too fragile. And with the guarded Magna Guards, that was really fun to do that. But at the time, you had the loadout to put afterburners and synced cannons on the Magna Guards, and that went away. Like their loadout was tanked, so you couldn't do that very quickly. So I backed off that list.
I think the Magna Guards, if you are looking at putting stuff on it, it should be sync laser and independent.
Yeah. Because
you can shift the stress easy enough, but you also, if say you roll 2 hits and an eyeball, you can spend a calc, and the sync lasers are still getting the ability to deny the range bonus as well.
Yeah. And so the syncs are still good, and their points have worked back up a little bit, but not being able to take afterburners meant that I had a hard time keeping them up with Sunfac. Because I really needed that to have the rogue dial keep up with a Antex in the way I was flying it, at least. Maybe I was flying it wrong.
Yeah, so I think the issue I have with Sunfac is because he can get blocked, but people use him to hunt aces, which is generally his purpose. But because most aces he's hunting do have a proper boost action, he always gets caught at a 45-degree deficit, which means he has to do another 3 hard, and they can just escape his arc. So if he gets pulled out to the side of the board, he's useless for a couple of turns. Whereas Chertek, I'm going to put myself here. I will track to someone. I will get defensive rerolls. I might be at range 0. And it's just like, well, I can lose a 4-point piece because I will trade up in this because you'll be tracked and I'm hitting you with a lot of things.
But the 5-point, yeah. Sunfac at 5. Sunfac at 5 is still good. I think he used to be 6, and so he's definitely improved, but still just such a risky piece. And for the initiative reason you're talking about, yeah.
The I6 is a feature and a bug.
Right. I do like that with it's dumb. It's definitely like the Boba Fen kind of archetype, like somehow giving Django to coordinate Sunfac. So you have the I6, you can coordinate before or after he moves. Like that's, if you want to go like heavy ace hunting, you can do that, but it's like 14 points.
A big commitment, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. And you can fill that up with other 2-point vultures, but it is the same deal where like you have just, if your opponent kills one of your power pieces, it's basically going to guarantee them the game.
Yeah, you need your vultures to not die, and I've flown enough vultures to know that sometimes they just pop, and it's such a frustrating thing.
They tend to have that habit. Yep.
Yeah, you took only the safest possible vulture and no others. I saw that.
Yep, and I fly him in such a way where I do my turn 0, where I put him where I can go 2 forward, and land on the rock, and I don't have to move again.
Yeah.
Put up his little beach umbrella and crack on.
Yeah. And then, so that was the top 8. We talked about those. And I did say we were going to shout out one additional list from the 40 that stood out that we liked a lot. And Narkexi, I think you had one that you really liked. And I'm going to dig up the one that I was looking for.
Yep. So,
oh my God.
Definitely for me, it was Alex B, who came 19th overall, maybe? Probably not, because I'm using different websites to find this out.
Yeah, he was 19th.
19th, yeah. With Ketsu with a little bit of a different build, so he didn't go with the Kira and Mando optics to ignore all the obstacles. He went Kuil instead, just to repair everything, which a 9-hull ship I can understand. Guri, which was a vastly different build. I never even thought of running Guri like this. Marg Sable Closure Advanced Optics Fire Control System, which I might just start running Advanced Optics Guri from now on, because if she's at if you barrel roll calculate into range 1, you get that focus. Just use the focus for Advanced Optics. It's kind of gross. Old Terok, Fearless Cutthroat Beskar Reinforced Plating, just so we can keep regenning that Beskar Reinforced Plating, is kind of gross when you can. And then the Mando in the N1, which, if you know how to fly him, he's a pain in the ass to deal with. He'll do damage until he's got 1 hull left, and then you will never see him for the rest of the game. You have to kill Mando in 1 turn, or you are never seeing Mando, or you're never seeing him again. And he's just going to grab objectives and be completely irrelevant for the rest of the game. So yeah, that's definitely some tech I'm taking from that list.
Funny, that sounds very much like old meta Guri from when the Star Viper first came out, but still, it's definitely time to revisit that, because you can do some real nasty things with that ship. And I know how much you love Guri.
I love Guri. I had a squadron member go down to a regional in Brisbane. He was given a Guri alt art card, so it's see-through with the Star Viper and the Black Sun logo. He came back. I wanted it so much, I immediately threw the $50 in my wallet at him to get it. So he didn't pay for it. It was just given to him from one of his opponents. So he ended up making $50 from that regional.
Nice. And he got you something you really loved. I love it.
I love that card. It looks so good. And it's a nice thick, it's thicker than a credit card too. So it's a nice, thick, hefty card to throw around.
Nice. I think I got one of those of Ahsoka. I have so many alt art cards of Ahsoka, and I rarely ever fly her, but she's so cool, so I love having those, and they just sort of happen to pop up, and I'm keeping them forever. Yeah, I love this. The list that I wanted to call it was number 10, and I have the list pulled up, so I don't have the pilot right here. It's 10th player. The list is ooh la la la. It's too many laws. Come on, buddy. And this is Lowen Reckons D. 10th place, not far out of the top 16, but it really jumped out to me because it has Tapusk. And this is actually, looking through these, the second list I saw that has Tapusk, the I5 HWK, who is still one of my favorite pilots ever. I love Tapusk. And if you haven't seen it, the graphic novel he's from is the comic adaptation of Kanan's story. Kanan's story of, his origin story, really, really good. I love that one. Since retconned by Bad Batch, but still good. But just Tapusk being the I5 HWK is the sort support piece I always want. Having the Moldy Crow title is such a huge boon for him. I really, 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 really want him to be able to take Hondo Crew. If you could please take that back to the XWA design team and say that's like my one favor. I want Hondo Crew on Tapusk. I know there's some kind of abusive reason why he's not cheap enough to do that, or why Tapusk doesn't have enough loadout to pull that off, but yeah, that's the thing I want. And I did run that in previous points. I think I was running that somewhere at some point, and then it hasn't been possible for a while. But also, of course, as Ketsu with that same build, Fearless Contraband, Mando Optics, Kira. So you can system phase lock an obstacle that you then move over and ignore it, because Kira lets you ignore obstacles you have locks on. Yeah, which is nice. And a big base ship on like that one. Then we got Fenrau from Armed and Dangerous. Sorry.
Yeah, if you can fit Ketsu right, you still get the benefits of defense over an obstructed shot.
Oh yeah, just park a corner.
So all of a sudden, she's a 3 dice large base ship, or for defense.
Yeah, and you can ignore it on offense too. Kira gets the best possible interpretation.
Yep.
And then Armed and Dangerous Fen. I don't trust Fen, so I'm going to say that the reason this got stuck in 10th place and didn't get higher is because of Fen. Fen popped too many times. And then got Mando N1. It's a really interesting list, and would like to see it played, but just that Tepes Ketsu is really what stood out to me, that I really love that. Like, you can run some really incredible all I5 scum lists that are super fun, and that's kind of my happy place.
So the reason that list didn't make it to the top 8 is the 2 losses he had was against Corrington and Denny, so the 2 top 8 finalists.
Sure. Yeah, so
Were
that
the
could have
only
done
losses he had in Swiss. Yeah.
Scum mirror. It's always the scum mirrors. I've done the numbers several times in Worlds metas, and like scum knock each other out of competitive play so often. Even when there's very few scum players, those scum mirrors knock players out like a shockingly high rate compared to other factions. It's really funny. Yeah, which, scum being scum. And then I'm sorry, so it was Denny and Corrington both beat him?
Yeah.
Brutal. But had he gone higher, he probably would have had to play one of them once or again in the final rounds too.
Quite possibly.
But that Ketsu is a really good ace hunter to deal with Corrington's list, maybe. And then that Fen, it's going to be a die roll that Fen always loses because you can only roll so many dice.
Yeah, this Fen's a little more defensive because of the Beskar blading. Like, it's great. He's got all the things that Fen wants to have: Fearless, Beskar, Concordia, and the adaptable power systems is just icing on the cake.
Yeah.
I understand why he's 6 points, and he's got 5 hull, so he's effectively 6 hull.
That Beskar, yeah.
Yeah. So a 6 hull Fang is spicy.
He does lose all of the offensive mods. I mean, he's got Fearless, but he loses all the offensive mods that you can put on Fen. So I really would never run him without Beskar and Optics. And you can't do that on that.
He still has his usual Fang Fighter action bar, so he's still got barrel roll focus, boost focus.
Yeah, but he doesn't have lock focus.
Yeah. No,
he doesn't.
Like, well, that's where having a coordinator
comes in, yeah.
Such as Tapisk, yeah.
Who cannot keep up with that? He can't stay at range 2 of Fen when he needs that coordinate to the target lock. This is always the struggle I get, and why I'm so hung up on Hondo, because Hondo's range 3 coordinate is such a bigger bubble that Fen can be the AC ship he needs to be and still get coordinated.
True, but Tapisk still has a 4 white straight.
Yeah, but if the Fen turns it all, he suddenly gets out of that range 2 bubble really quickly. Anyway,
yeah, but you're coordinating with Tapisk before Fen moves. But yeah,
that's true.
So you coordinate Fen, give him the focus, then after Fen goes, he takes the target lock instead.
Except he can't do a reposition and lock. So if he gets out of position later on, I mean, but it's just the I5 to I6 step. So it's
Yeah, but you're fine having him being facing someone at range 1 anyway, because it's Fen, 4 dice with an auto evade.
Sure. And hopefully Beskar. Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
how about you, Liam?
I think, yeah.
We in about lists?
Yeah. Any one other list out there that stood out that you wanted to shout out?
So I'm going to go with, this is clearly bias, but it's my best mate, Adam. He ran Echo with Targeted Computer and Outmaneuver. Whisper with Fifth Brother and Targeted Computer. Duchess with Outmaneuver and Predator. And then Gar Saxon in the Gauntlet with Swivel Wing, Drop Seat Bay, Moff Jerjerrod, The Child, Outmaneuver, and ISB Slice because he had a point.
What is that?
That's nuts! Holy hell!
Okay, all right.
That is a boosting gauntlet.
It's Moff Jerjerrod. Yeah, I mean that's boosting Whispers too, or boosting Phantoms.
Yep. Yeah. And you can effectively double boost with Duchess because she can do her ailerons even while stressed.
Yeah.
And then Jerjerrod, what is it? Jerjerrod's every 3 turns, right? He's got the 3 recurring charges.
I think it's either 3 or 2.
It's 2. Every
other turn, every one of your ships can boost. Yeah. Oh my god, I love that so much. Underutilized crew. I love to see that in the competitive list.
Mm-hmm.
But he really jump to the top of the meta, but yeah, this is a good one to shout out. I love this list.
That's a nuts list. I like that.
And he was like, I just want to fly something fun. I mean, he went 3-2, and one of his losses was very close. and he got outmaneuver on the gauntlet quite a few times because it's just in places you don't expect it to be.
Yeah.
I wonder how close you can get to this with Hark, because with Hark's side slips, I could see that being much like a dramatic way to. I don't know how he matches on the loadout. Yeah, Hark being able to side slip with that outmaneuver would be a nutty piece on this, especially being able to boost and side slip.
I think I'd just prefer Gar Saxon just because it's a lot easier to get those phantoms into rear arcs.
Oh, fair point. Yeah.
Phantoms rolling 5 dice is nothing to be kind of casual about. That's very dangerous.
It's 1.0 territory because there were 4 dice.
Yes, it is 1 point.
Oh,
it's
Jesus.
the 1.0
Yeah, I remember those.
Phantom dice. Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't
So
think
I
the
think-
Phantom is anywhere near the like meta menace that people were really nervous about Phantoms, but when they got dropped down to 3 dice, they really could be a cheaper, like leaner ship because they're not dominating any meta anytime soon. But
So
I say that.
But if you point them lower and then you start spamming Duke on them.
Oh god, yeah. Well, so point the standard loadouts lower because those have good upgrades, but they're not rife for abuse. You can only do so much with that, or give them less loadout. But
I'd still take Echo at SL5 at the standard at 5 just because of what Echo does with his standard loadout.
oh sure, yeah,
because it turns into what Xizor does. So he has the guaranteed straights for his decloak, and then twice a game you can opt to Bendy.
that's right.
Yeah.
Now,
and Stealth Gambit and Silent Hunter are really good as well.
That does bring up a question. This is the second Whisper we've seen in this event. It's the second custom Whisper with this build. Why this instead of standard loadout Echo? Now, in this case, because Echo is also in the list, but in the other case, why would you?
Fifth Brother Whisper is gross. Fifth Brother Whisper is every turn you spend a force and crit.
Okay. Yeah.
And then Whisper's ability, if your attack hits, you gain a free evade. So if you're shooting at range 1, you're usually going to be hitting, unless you get super unlucky. So you push a crit through, you get the evade, and then if you're not shot because you're doing phantom things and you're not being shot at anyway, you just automatically get your cloak back because of Stygian Marae.
Sure. Let's actually take a look at that.
And Stygian Marae gives you an evade anyway. So you're looking at you could have 2 evades on Whisper, 2 evade tokens on Whisper, so she's really not taking any damage if she does get shot at, with the chance of her just disappearing again because of the cloak with Stygian Marae.
Oh yeah, and Fifth Brother's the focus mod, so you can lock and have the passive focus mod, so it's a soft double mod. I see it. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's why you also take targeting computer, so you actually have target lock. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. 5 dice Whisper, like 5-point Whisper, just does a lot more than the SL Whisper.
So I think we kept Liam up too late.
I'm still good.
Maybe. Oh, okay. I got a message and I dropped off, but no, it's unrelated. Okay. Yeah, I could see that being really gnarly. I love the SLs just because mechanically of how they work, but I could see this just being flat up a better statistically piece because that's gnarly.
Yep.
Okay. Another friend that owes you flowers, Liam, but that is really fun.
He doesn't owe me flowers. He gave me a lift to the event and had to wait around because I was in the final. He paid his dues.
Oh, geez, yeah. And then I'm sorry. So hang on. There's a couple things I want to highlight. It was when I asked about the event, you said, and I quote, and I love this as somebody not from the area, so I have to shout this out. You said, "Chuffed to bits about it." Yes, very excited about the win. And then it was Kendrick Lamar. It was a Kendrick Lamar concert. Was why everything got way more expensive and crowded last minute.
Yeah. So obviously with events like this, people wait to buy their tickets and book their accommodation. I was lucky because I said, "Can someone book the accommodation and we'll sort it later?" And they booked it like 9 months in advance.
Nice.
Obviously, Kendrick announced his concert for the same weekend months later, but that almost doubled some Airbnbs and tripled others. Same with the hotels as well. So when I paid, I think it was £100 for 2 nights. Some people were paying £300 for a night.
Ooh.
Because of Kendrick Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we only got 40. There were people who were looking at traveling from Poland, more people from France, even people from the UK. If it's a 3-hour drive, you don't want to be doing that each way twice. So you'd want accommodation, and when they went to look, they were like, "I'm not paying £200 for a night," which is unfair.
Huge shout out to the folks that made it. Like, this is not a small event. 40 players coming out to this, fully playing through. I don't think anyone dropped early, if I'm reading the numbers correctly.
Only one person dropped, and that was Adrian Dietrich. He was 0-4 running triple tri-fighters. Fair play to him, but obviously
dropped it. 0-4. Wow. Or 4-0? No.
So 3 people dropped.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so numbers that are grayed out, if you're looking at the Longshanks, they're the people who dropped.
Ah, man. Okay, so there are a couple separatist ships that I really, really want to figure out how to make work. Fearsome Predator, but the top one is the Precise Hunter. I really want the Precise Hunter to work, and it doesn't, but I really want it to. The Precise Hunter with the Bullseye mod relay, the one that gives you the free hit. Like, I feel like there's something there. There has to be something there, and just never landed. There's 3 Precise Hunters with ion cannons and that bot, so they get like free hits. It just feels like it should be good, or maybe even HLCs. And Adrian brings the other one, the Fearsome Predator, which I feel like should be really good, and for whatever reason just isn't, and I don't really know how to make it work. But yeah, God, a 7-ship separatist list with Watt, Tambor, 3 Tri-Fighters, the 3 Fearsome Predators, and then DBS 404. God, what an aggressive list.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really like it. I think he was unfortunate to go 0-4. But taking 3 Tri-Fighters, he said when I went and spoke to him at lunch, Tri-Fighters did Tri-Fighter things, and I knew at that moment he wasn't talking about the damage dealing, it was the damage receiving.
It was the damage taking. Yeah.
Just went up in smoke. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah. But the energy shell charges on the vultures too. Like, this is, and DBS 404, this is like a really, really aggressive high ship count list.
Yeah.
Nice. It's low initiative though, so like an ace list would probably cut it to ribbons. Like a beef list would give it a lot of trouble, but it's a really, really fun list. I like it a lot. I like the design of it. And that sort of highlights too, like, in addition to the faction variety, there's a huge variety in the different lists here. Like, I didn't see anything that was that similar to anything else.
Yeah, I think with separatists there was 0 repeated lists.
There were repeated pilots, but yeah, no, I don't think we've seen any repeated lists across the event. Wow. Okay, yeah.
I think the closest we would have got with that is the Scum, because they do have an established archetype, and it's normally Ketsu's the main one. People take Mando. Dirge is still very popular.
I saw a bunch of Ketsu. There were 2 at least. Ketsu Tapas Commando +1.
Yeah.
I did see a Dengar. I saw a Dengar Nim list popping around somewhere.
Yeah, my go-to
here it is.
when I was.
Oh no!
Go ahead.
Boba Fence and Nim, Mining Guild tie. What a weird list. That is 5-point Fen, Nim. Yeah, okay, and he's got the double tapping custom Boba, the double tapping Nim, with veteran turret gunner and Migs. He's got Migs Mayfield on Boba.
Yeah, I like Migs as a gunner. It's just it's a very gentle veteran turret gunner.
Bonus stack. Yeah.
But with how many orange and red tokens are being thrown around, it's very easy to get it.
Yeah. I like to have an I5 or higher ship that can put out those tokens. That's a really good upgrade with the new Armed and Dangerous Dengar.
Yeah.
Yeah, really like that.
the Dengar list you saw was actually played on stream, and it was against Adam, and that was Boba, Dengar, Sarko, Plank, and Cad.
Yeah, Cad. Yep.
There's another Dengar. I see one here that's Han, Fen, Dengar, Lando. Oh, come on.
Mm-hmm.
I did see one. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. Dengar. This just says Dengar Fire Spray. I assume that's Armed Dangerous Boba.
Yeah, it will be.
And then that's going to be Armed Dangerous Dirge, probably. And then Sarko. Yep, that's the one you're talking about. And then Savage on Sarko. Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
My squadron mate Lucky Duck has been testing that, and it's a pain.
So now one is forward, one is back. Savage is the forward one,
Savage
right?
Is forward.
Yeah, okay. So he can give a free focus token to a friendly ship in his forward arc.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because Ahsoka, I know, is the full 180 rear arc, but Savage is forward, yeah. Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah. And it's after a ship at 1 to 2 gains a stress or strain. So it's a great way to give ships that have just done K turns or anything like that a focus, or double focus something that's just done a focus reposition.
Really, really, really good with custom Dengar. Because custom Dengar stresses the crap out of himself all day long. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild. What an interesting list. Yeah, this is
really good.
Really
it's
crazy
really
stuff.
good with the Armed and Dangerous Boba Fett too.
I could see that. Yeah.
Because you always want to be more. You almost always want to be boosting around with Boba Fett. So Sarko's just giving him a focus token.
It's also really good because it does give Boba an actual reason to reinforce, which is something that I've always tinkered with. Like I was running him with Mando crew, so I could do a white reinforce. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is the Armed and Dangerous Boba.
Right. Yeah. So he does
in that list.
So,
yeah. So he's doing he's doing boost lock. Here, have a
boost
focus
lock
on top.
Focus.
Yeah. With
pretty good.
Yeah.
With his like huntery abilities to do bonus stuff. That's really good. I love that. I got to try that out. That combo of those two ships, and then probably fill in the rest with different stuff. But I really like that a lot.
And then it works well with homing beacon as well, because after you do an advanced maneuver, enemy ship at 1 to 2 in your front arc, you can spend a focus to acquire. You can spend an energy to acquire a lock. You've got lock focus again, and he's just saying, "I dare you to shoot at something." You're basically getting a weapon disabled on a ship because you don't want something at range 1 of Boba Fett to deal with a lock focus.
Oh yeah.
So it's more or less effectively a weapon disabled, because I have even when you're flying Dengar, like, people won't shoot Dengar. Because it's Dengar, like, they don't want the revenge shot. So I have flown Dengar Boba Fett in the same list, and it is a phenomenal moment when you get both Dengar and Boba Fett having revenge shots.
Oh yeah, and especially if you're outnumbered, it's gonna happen because they have to shoot at your ships, and you only have so many options to shoot at. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if Boba and Dengar are both at range 1 of a target that shoots into Dengar, you are rolling 16 dice.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. Okay, so we do need to wrap because it's getting quite late. I did want to go ahead and shout out Dylan, whose last name I don't know.
Jones.
Dylan Jones. I did know that. Of course I did. Sorry, Dylan. For running the event, doing a really fun job, did a great job marketing this. He's an absolute delight of a human being. Really nice to interact with as little as I have. I'm sure this was a ton of work, and so I really appreciate him putting this together. This is like a big headliner event for the XWA and the continuation of X-Wing as a game, which I really love that. Yeah, shout out to both you guys for making it. And I do, before we all pass out again, or I guess Narkexi, you go on about with your normal day because it's like 10 a.m. there. Before we go, what is one pilot that has never worked for you that you want to make work?
Oh, God.
Sorry, I think you just said one immediately. Quick draw. Never worked for you, really?
No, I fly it like I've just had a lobotomy.
No, I am an idiot. I always run quick draw with electronic baffle. So in the end phase, I will deliberately hurt myself to fire the bonus attack.
That's a really big brain play.
Because the thing is,
like
usually
that.
if I don't do that, I lose more than one shield every time I get shot.
Yeah, so one core memory I've got of X-Wing, I think it was a GSP stream, and he needed to kill something. So what he did, he force-straighted his quick draw over a rock, took the damage, because it was 1.0 rock, so you had to roll for it, took the
Right.
damage, at range 1, rolled 4 dice, killed it before it had activated.
Oh
Oh,
no. Oh, that sucks.
It was disgusting.
yeah.
Yeah, I always played it really cagey at
yeah.
long range with that baffle trick, so I just threw a bunch of extra dice. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, for me, it's gonna sound kind of sacrilegious, but Mando in the ST-70.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Okay.
I've never made him. I have made Q90 work numerous times. I am currently toying around with a double guild bounty hunter list at the moment,
Yeah.
but I've never made Mando work. I just can't get him to work because
I've made Mando work.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, that's it. It's disgusting when it does work, and I've only made it work once or twice, but I'm always losing Mando in the ST-70 before he can get the chance to do his things.
Hang
I
on, so
do. Go ahead.
there was a list I put together. I've since deleted it, but it was L3 in the escape craft,
Yeah.
advanced sensors Guri,
Mm-hmm.
fearless old Terok
Mm-hmm.
before Fen came down in points, and Mando. And Mando had Duke, false transponder codes, the child, electronic baffle, and contraband. And it was just,
Ooh.
I'm going to remove all of your tokens.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was playing a game where, because I've got Duke and I've coordinated the evade onto Mando, I've flipped false transponders, I've taken my lock, I've knocked off your token. Now I'm probably going to get 3 hits, 4 at
Yep.
range 1. I then Duke your evade, you die, and then my next shot is Alterok at range 1, and again you have no tokens, and I probably
Yeah.
crit 4 hits there. And
Yeah.
then you've got Guri doing whatever the hell she wants
Mm-hmm.
afterwards.
I might have to give that a try.
You're not going to like my tech. So whenever I'm making Fen, the times that I've gotten Mando to work well, it was either you don't turn, which works fine, or you
Yeah.
run Fen Rao Crew. And I usually put that on Cad and the Rogue.
Mm-hmm.
Because being able to pull off those stresses really helps.
Yeah. Once upon I was trying to do Fen Crew somewhere in the list, but it was just never working because my road rolls are notoriously shit. So he's always bumping.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, my road rolls are really atrocious in person. You might check my YouTube channel and see the videos I've got, and I'm winning road a lot. No, not in real life, especially against Lucky Duck. I don't know what he's done to the dice he used to roll road, but I think we'll play 2-3 games on a Thursday afternoon, and I might win road 3 times.
No. Let's see. Yeah, well, fair. But you don't need to win road. You just need to not lose your ships.
This is true.
Well, yeah, it's just the range control thing. I always like putting that tech on there because it's one of those things that always works. Like when it triggers, of course. But when the trigger triggers, you don't have to do actions. You don't have to prep. No, nothing. No firing arc. It's just if you are here in this case, stress comes off. Just boom, pull it off from every ship in that specific space. And it's especially good with Ketsu because then she wants to be in that space and constantly be up in everything's face. So I enjoy that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think for me, I'm going to cheat a little bit. It's not a pilot, it's the crew, Grief Karga. I want to get Grief Karga to work.
Yeah, I miss Grief.
And I still have that build. I know we've talked about the Ketsu build a lot, but I still really like Ketsu with clan training, grief, Mando optics, and of course the title, so that you can system phase lock, and then you're an I5 and you can coordinate with grief, and you can double coordinate something to lock focus to focus and then target lock that enemy ship. And then it can still do whatever other actions it does in its turn.
Mm-hmm.
And then you still have the lock, and you can clan training for the focus if you're able to pull off the stress.
Yeah.
I don't even know what Grief Karga does.
He's
So gains a
Gleb,
red.
but so he's a red coordinate, but if you coordinate a ship, it may acquire a lock on an object you have locked. There's just this low activation because you have to have the lock before you coordinate.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's why it's not better than Gleb, because still a red coordinate still stresses the ship that does the coordinate, and that ship has to have easy access to locks before doing it, and it's scum. They don't have easy access to locks at all. But it's interesting tech. And I love it on Mandalorian ships because they have that free lock option, and the high initiative ones can do that really early coordinate for a focus lock on whatever ship, and then that ship can just chase something down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's why I definitely just prefer Protectorate Gleb on a lower, especially on lower initiative coordinators. Because if I'm going to be doing a blue anyway, you get no downside to Gleb.
Yeah, and it's just a gimmick. The thing is, just I like Grief as a character. It feels really cool to have in there, especially with Mando. But it was a weirdly designed upgrade to have in Scum.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should call it. It is late. I'll go ahead and hop off, guys. But I really appreciate the time. I will probably have this uploaded tonight, but probably not publish it until tomorrow. So I have time to do some notes and put up a cover. But yeah, thank you again for coordinating with me. And I would love to have you both on again down the road. And I think, Liam, you mentioned UK Games Expo already happened, or is that coming up?
That happened back in June.
It did. And then also
May. I think it was May. It's one of the two.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. I was selling a house, cars, and moving to Europe. Yeah. And then you mentioned the Polish Championship. Did that just happen as well?
312 are running a Conquest series, much like the GSP Galaxies, and they've just had a Polish one on Saturday. But the Polish Discord, they've got several events coming up, and before XWA was a thing, they organised their own system opens and stuff.
Okay.
But now they're starting to be more involved in the community. Like I sit in their Discord and pretend to speak Polish all the time, and all I do is go and Google Translate, or say that, or say the two words I know in Polish, which is witam, which is hello, and tak, which is yes. So I'll see all this Polish text going on, and I'll just put tak tak. No idea
Yes.
what's been said.
Hello, yes.
I don't know what I'm saying yes to. Or I'll just say Robert Lewandowski, Polish striker, and that's the amount of my Polish.
Nice. So a name, and then yes, and hello. Okay, that's fair.
Oh no, Kulva as well. That means whore.
I was going to say, yeah.
I will say,
one I do know.
An absolute highlight of my time at Worlds 2 years ago now was the doubles event where I played against two Polish guys, and there was a massive language barrier, but that was still such a fun game. And I'm just going to credit the entire Polish community with being wonderful and amazing just because of that experience. And that was the year that the Orange Klutzes, Old Para, won the event. So big year for Poland.
Yep, I've never had a bad game against Polish players.
Who won Worlds that year?
That was Old Para. I don't know his real name, but he's like a luminary of the community going way back.
2 years ago, did you say?
2 years ago, yeah.
Was that?
No, I'm sorry, he didn't win. He performed really, really well with Scum.
Top 8, yeah.
Yeah. He was like the only Scum player to make it even past top 16, and he got like really high in the cut, which is really cool to see. I'm sorry, didn't win. Won in my heart.
Yeah, Old Para got a lot of time for him. I've never beat him.
Oh god, yeah, no, he's a really good player. He's a very scary player, and he plays with Fen. I don't know how he does it.
He's really good with Talonbane as well.
I don't think I ever saw him fly one of those.
Oh, it's
God,
all
that
in
ship.
the Post League at the moment.
Can we have like a unique nickname for that thing so we don't actually have to spell the ship name? Because holy crap. But no, that's a not. I mean, Talonbane. Yeah, we just call it the Talonbane ship. But the Kirax.
Oh
Just
yeah.
too many consonants. But I'm rambling. I'm gonna hop off, guys. It's been a delight, and yeah, we'll talk again soon.
It's been a pleasure. Yeah. Right.
Been a pleasure.
Cheers.
Bye.
See ya.